Test, test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. All good? Okay. Hey guys, welcome. So, as advertised, I'm going to be speaking a bit about gaming in Web3. Just for context, the reason why I got into crypto is was gaming way back when, because I was actually quite involved in gaming in Croatia for several years, and I actually learned about Bitcoin through gaming. And I was very enthusiastic when I joined the crypto space because I thought that I'm going to be very involved in gaming in the crypto industry. Ended up not being quite as fantastic as I hoped, but I do have a lot of interesting takes on it, so I would like to discuss them through my presentation with all of you. So first of all, the expected question is, who here ever played a video game? So basically all of you. Great. Who among you considers himself a gamer? Okay. Good crowd, good crowd. And now the last question. Out of all of you, I presume all of you have tried or played a crypto game, right? No? Okay, you didn't, but most of you did. So, would you raise a hand who would rather play a crypto game today in the state in which the industry is, or a normal game, a Web2 game? Probably no one, right?
Depends. If it's really, really good, which is not right now.
The state of the industry, as I said. And that's kind of the realistic point of view that also I have.
What do you mean by crypto game? Like a game that has crypto inside. For example, I would play normal game, and if it has something in crypto inside, I would of course play.
But they don't. These games, like the comparison which I'm trying to have here is, we do have crypto games. Obviously, a lot of you tried them, but nobody here likes them, and that's the problem. Like that's the problem that we have in the industry currently. So the progression in gaming, most of you probably know it, went from arcade to consoles, online, mobile, free to play, and then play to earn. So all of this is fine for me up until the point where we get to play to earn. Because as we all probably know at this point, play to earn as a model failed horribly due to many factors which we can discuss today, and I hope I get a lot of opinions from you guys. But this is the state of the industry currently. So you obviously, some of you know, I don't know if everyone knows what is crypto gaming. That's basically the integration of blockchain into games. So you take a Web2 game and you integrate some sort of a blockchain component to it. It can be a token or it can be an NFT or whatever. And you get your usual crypto game. What was the biggest hype in my head when I heard of crypto was, okay, wait, so you're telling me there's the possibility of owning an item in the game and actually owning it? I used to play a lot of CSGO and a lot of Dota. And you know how Steam works as a platform. They are a closed system, so if you have a skin, it's not really yours. They even state it in the bylaws that the skins are owned by them, but you can use them. And for someone who spends, I don't know, 5 to 6 hours gaming per day, which I used to do, that's a bit frustrating because you earn those items, you play for them, you actually invest money into buying some of them, and you don't really own them. And extracting value out of that is impossible, sort of. So I was kind of hyped about blockchain entering the gaming space, and that was kind of my main thing why I started researching blockchain and being interested in it. Basic features, you all know them. So it's the true digital ownership part where you actually get to own the asset. Monetization is something that I also had a big hype about. Huge hopes. The one thing that is interesting and that gets talked about a lot, but I don't think we're going to see it that fast, is the interoperability part, which, I mean, everyone hopes if you have 2, 3, 4 games that you really like, you hope that you can use the items across, or characters even, across those games. which is kind of the promise of blockchain entering the gaming space, but honestly, I didn't see it happen yet. Hope to see it at some point. And the decentralization part, like everything's gonna be super, super democratic, which I'm actually not quite bullish on. I just took like three examples of top crypto games. You all know about Axie, probably, right? That was the first play to earn game, and probably the biggest gaming raise I think ever. And the one thing which is funny about Axie is the fact that they turned out to be the prime example of why play to earn doesn't work. They tried so many things, they reiterated, they tried everything, and the economic model basically failed miserably. And I think they should serve as a prime example and as a research case for everyone who's entering the crypto gaming space. The Gods Unchained this year mostly because that's probably the most popular trading card game, and in my opinion, crypto is probably ideal for trading card games. Like that's the number one use case for me for blockchain to enter the gaming space, and I played a lot of Gods Unchained, and I can tell you the game is really good. The problem is they don't have users, not nearly enough as they should, and we all know this one, which is probably the biggest game, I would say, in Solana currently, and the most expected one. So Star Atlas is a funny story, and I think they might be the first economic model, if the execution is done as I expect, they might be the first monetization model, like first time someone brought the crypto economy into a game which could be sustainable. Because it doesn't revolve around play to earn, it revolves around an approach where they wanted to make an in-game economy that is basically the same as the real economy, you know? And I'm really interested seeing what happens when like players enter it, when people start using it, but that's probably an interesting thing.
Can trading card game analogy that you said generalize to any turn-based PvP arena?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's way easier to insert blockchain into these types of games, you know, because if you're playing anything in real time, there's certain mechanics that are a bit trickier to execute, and of course, yeah, turn-based games, definitely, every single one. I mean, I think Axie is basically also a turn-based game, right? When you think about it, yeah. I agree, yeah. So. Unfortunately, this is the real state of the industry. So Gods Unchained compared to Hearthstone, both of them are trading card games. This is what they have in monthly users. So monthly active users on Gods Unchained, a bit less than 5,000. Hearthstone, a bit less than 800,000. And market cap of Gods Unchained is 39 million, which is basically something that Hearthstone makes in 2 months. That's the real state of the industry, and the thing that I want to discuss today with you guys is why. So, Gods Unchained, if you try to play it, when you get to the part where you play the game, it's sort of similar, you know? It's a trading card game. They're all the same. The question becomes, why isn't this closer to this? And how can we make this closer to this? So the challenges, of course, we talked about one of them, is the economic model. Gods Unchained also had a token. That token performed, well, the way it performed. My take on the economic model of Gods Unchained is if you want to play a trading card game, you play it because it's a good game, not because you want to earn money. So when we talk about the economic model being an issue, I think the biggest issue about an economic model is that it exists. The problem is people who enter crypto games are not really gamers. And the biggest issue that we have in adopting crypto games is getting to the gamers, not to a crypto degen that wants to earn his $100 and sell it and go out. That's the biggest issue that we have with crypto games, and honestly, I have no idea how we're going to solve that unless we start raising way more money and go way bigger. The other part of it is the fact that it's very hard to get to a gamer if he has to go through several loops of interactions to actually play the game. Most crypto games are either just browsers, browser-based, or they are some sort of a weird app that doesn't really work as it should. The main difference between Hearthstone and Gods Unchained is the fact that they pushed out native applications for iOS and for Android and for PC. I think it was also Mac and PC, everything basically in like the first few months of the game. And at that point, you have your distribution and it's easy for everyone to get to it and to play it. That's the thing that we lack in crypto, and I think it's also a bit developer-based because in crypto we don't really have a lot of native gaming developers, and it's really hard to produce that quality. Funding is another thing which also doesn't help, because usually what I see is games raising to just push something out, not everything. I think most of these games should be thinking bigger. They should be more aggressive, and don't settle for, we're just gonna push a beta version of some game and see what happens then. After you went to the market, if you don't really push the market, you're done. If you don't have users in the first, I don't know how many months, it's hard to expect you to grow. So the economic model is a problem. The development part is a problem that we need to address. Regulatory things still ambiguous, not really certain what classification does an in-game item. If it's a crypto, what does it entail? Do you have to pay taxes on it? Do you have to, I don't know. Like in the US, I can already imagine them coming to a conclusion where you have to like declare to the IRS how many in-game items you have and how much worth they have. So that's something that I can see happening. Maybe not under Trump, but if something changes, that could be a real issue. And
but how do you think, for example, CSGO solved that? I mean, they have open market for the skins. Officially, it's not Steam-based, but they make it off the mainstream. So is this maybe the route to go?
I think that's going to be the route to go. Yeah. I think Steam is very. They're very smart. They know how to stand on the sidelines but still control the whole thing. When they first started pushing these skins out, this was a completely closed market, so they didn't have any worry. I think it's still to a degree like it. So I don't know. It's mostly like I can remember still when those first platforms for skin betting came out for CSGO. It was third-party sites where you basically gave the skins to, and they gave you back something more if you won, And Steam was completely out of that whole thing. I remember still to this day that there was like a controversy around, Steam is enabling children to bet. And they just came out with a statement, we have nothing to do with this. This is third-party sites, apps doing whatever they want. We have nothing to do with this. And I think that's still the case. With crypto, it's a bit trickier, I guess, because it's crypto and because it gets scrutinized way more, and it's a bit of a different idea. But I'm guessing like all the crypto games are going to go in the same direction eventually. They should. And of course, the ever present scam speculations in low quality projects, which do appear a lot. That's something that we need to solve from a top-down level. We just need to stop giving money to projects that don't deserve it, and that's it.
Why do you think normal games don't start integrating crypto even as a prototype?
That's the one thing that that I was about to come to now. So, look, the realistic thing is, let's say AAA developers, AAA game developers, they are counter-incentivized to do blockchain. Because if you have a closed system, why would you ever open it to the public? If you're making money, you control the assets, you have no regulatory worries, you don't depend on anyone except your own closed system, and you make all the decisions. Why would you ever want to make it open for public? Why would you ever risk involving an economic part that you cannot control into something that you can? So it's very hard. I mean, I see the path to getting there, but it involves mainly social pressure, you know, and I think what we need is probably one or two really, really good AAA crypto games that succeed, that prove on the market that they are about to crush these centralized games. And at that point, we may be able to see, I don't know, GTA 6 someday, yeah, maybe, with a crypto economy. But until then, they just make too much money, and they are just too well positioned to actually allow anything like that to happen. Yeah. Like you have the same problem with esports. Why esports doesn't, like esports is stagnating for a few years, and nobody knows why. For me, I think it's because at the end of the day, comparing sports to esports, there's one big difference. Sports isn't really owned, like football isn't really owned by anyone, you know? The rules are the rules. We all know football. We know how it's played. It's been here for a long time, and everyone can play it, and we just don't give a shit, you know? It's like the people's ownership, you know? But a certain game, it has an owner. It has someone controlling it. It has someone who makes the decision of an update, and they can tear it down tomorrow. So esports doesn't really come to the point where we celebrate it so much because we don't connect that much with them. I'm a big gamer, but at the end of the day, I know CSGO is Valve's property, and they can do with it whatever they want, you know? That's the big issue. And with football, I mean, it's football, you know? It doesn't belong to anyone. You have organizations around tournaments, but football is just ours, you know?
Maybe open source games are the future.
That was my next thing. You guys are guessing whatever I want to say, but this is good. This is good. So when you think about gaming and when you think about crypto, I mean, when you say blockchain, you say open sourced. So I think the big change could come if we do ever get like a big game. Maybe it's Star Atlas at some point, who knows. A big game that's going to succeed, that's going to have a lot of monthly active users. And maybe at that point, we can start talking about, you know, games actually reaching that level, and then esports reaching that same level as your regular sport. So from everything that I just said, I have like a couple of takes on crypto, which I would like to discuss with everyone. So my first point is, I think from a play-to-earn perspective, we need to kind of evolve into the play and own and play and create models, which is way more blockchain native than just the earn part. And if we stop calling something play to earn, we are gonna stop attracting people who want to just earn. So that's also a marketing thing. It's multiple things in one. And I think the messaging around gaming should be more around ownership, enjoyment, fun, creation, stuff like that, which is gonna attract a different type of person. And maybe that's something that we've been doing wrong. Of course, I do understand when you try, when you're in a bull run and everything is hyped and you need your space and you need fast marketing and you need users. Of course, you're gonna do the easy thing and just say, come play this game for 15 minutes and you're gonna win $200, and of course everyone's gonna try it. The problem is what happens afterwards. And somehow we, in crypto, we tend to overlook that part, and we just go. My main question is, if you had the chance, like, I need to think about this question. I had it and it went away. So basically, all of you played a game. Would you still play games, even if you knew that there was no economic part in it, crypto games? Like, would you still play them? If the assets were available, but there's no money to be made. Would you ever start any crypto game without it?
You own the NFT, like you like this game, you have skin, you have NFT, it's not earned, it doesn't make value, it brings like an art or something like that.
Yeah.
I would play with something like that.
From my perspective, it doesn't matter if it's crypto or not, if it's really fun, I would play it anyway. But we have this like sentiment that when you're playing a crypto game, you're expecting some economic value out of it. But if it would be fun, I wouldn't care. I would still play it.
Yeah.
But definitely the big issue is when I think about crypto gaming, I'm always thinking about tokenomics, how to earn, what to do.
That's the problem. We came to the point where you can't even say crypto game without someone asking about a token.
When token.
Yeah, that's the issue. And then it's hard to do any proper marketing. It's hard to do any proper user acquisition if the first thing everyone's going to ask is where's the token and how fast can I get my money. I think that's an issue that we kind of have rooted too deep in the whole ecosystem. But yeah, let's go.
Isn't the core of that issue that the VCs are the first one to ask that question and how to dump that token on the end user?
Yes, that's a big problem, and I'm not sure if it's solvable that easily. So I mean, there's one very easy way of solving this. Don't raise on a token. You know, if the regular games can raise, if the Web2 games can raise multiple hundreds of millions and present their roadmaps from 3 to 5 years, why couldn't crypto games do that? The problem is they didn't try. I mean, I've seen so many pitch decks which have so many projections, so many roadmaps, so many promises around games, and as soon as you ask 3 to 5 the same questions, like, would you accept less? Yes, they would. Can you do this faster? Yes, we can. Then why are we looking at this? You know, the problem is most people that do try to build these games don't really know how to do it because the professionals are already somewhere. And there's a few. I'm not saying there's nobody. I'm just saying most. And that's one of the issues that we have, not just in gaming and crypto, in general. In crypto, we need experience, we need a bit more knowledge in some of these things like predictions, and the most part is if you're saying something, then just go for it, you know. I've seen too many compromises end up in failure just because someone compromised when they were either raising or promising something. And on the VC side of things, like if you're a game and you know that a token is bad for your game, then just don't raise on a token. Don't take the money just to take the money. That's you know, short-term versus long-term thinking. And I mean, that depends on a lot of things, but I think we should just stop, you know, giving money to projects that want to do just tokens and launch them, and you know, we see where we go, because that didn't end well for years. The main thing that we want to see is basically these traditional studios adopting blockchain, and then we can expect some games. As I said, GTA 6 with crypto economy, that works, you know. And GTA 6 doesn't need a token. They have money, and it's in equity, and it's fine. At some point, I do expect crypto projects to be able to raise on equity. It should be something that's doable. We don't necessarily need a token for everything, and we don't need to decentralize every single aspect of everything. So it's something that we need to think about.
What is also, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
What is also problem, my cousin, he's always asking me for big bucks for Fortnite.
Yeah, yeah.
And they have their own closed economy. And
Yeah, and that's why Fortnite would never be incentivized to go with a blockchain component. They're going to lose money,
yes,
because they're making so much money from V-Bucks, yes, which they control. Nobody can actually tell them anything. Why would they ever have a token? You know, that's the issue. Yeah. That's the main issue why none of these big AAA developers actually produced a single game. And honestly, I think they will not do it anytime soon, unless we get that one big project or two big projects that are gonna start intimidating them. You know, that's what moves things. You know, big social pressure or competitor. That's it. Nothing's gonna move the ball like that.
But could you consider that one part of the issue is this making artificial separation between crypto? Okay, we are branding them as crypto games. Immediately we are separating, like this is games,
Exactly.
this is crypto games.
Yeah.
Maybe we could reconcile that by rebranding these games, and okay, in natural way introduce blockchain, but it's not selling point. It's like before, it's when internet came out, okay, we have offline games, online games, but there was no like clear
Yep.
separation. I think we should do more. I mean, that's my point of view.
That's exactly what I've been saying. That's literally what I've been saying. I think we started the whole thing wrong. We just kept pushing the crypto part, of course, because we're enthusiastic, because we believe in the industry, because we have our reasons why we kept pushing the whole thing. But at the end of the day, your audience is not a crypto user. Your audience is probably someone who doesn't really care about crypto. So maybe we shouldn't push the crypto part as much as the game part. And in the development sense, let's be honest, games need to be fun. Most crypto games are boring. Like you do 7 clicks and then that's that. It's going to be 7 clicks until the rest of your days if you want to play that game. So they're mostly boring and even hard to play. And one of the issues is the UX part. Crypto in general has a user experience problem. And I think Solana is probably one of the chains that has done the best job at navigating a UX crypto's problem, But still, even Solana didn't get to the part where it's good or where it's playable. So from back a few slides, Hearthstone versus Gods Unchained. I need to log in, sign a transaction, select a wallet in order to start the game. Okay, cool. When I want to sell an item, I need to go to a marketplace, list it, sign, blah, blah, blah. And it's always something blockchainy. There's always something in the background that I need to check, which is okay, cool. That's the point of crypto. So you have everything there. Everything is available, all the information. I own my assets, cool. But to a normal person, they used to click around Steam and they didn't care if the skin was theirs or Steam's or whatever. So that's kind of the road that we need to take. We need to simplify it, and of course everyone keeps talking about abstracting the blockchain component completely if we can. And your average person doesn't really want to know their seed phrase, or they don't want to, they don't want to do it. It's just too much for them. So basically what we kind of need to do is semi-centralize probably the whole approach. And I think that's going to work. I think the biggest thing that games could do is basically have the whole UI, UX story be the same as any other game, and then just add on the possibility for someone who is a crypto user to actually extract their assets if they want. So you have your email and address, you have your login, and then you can use your wallet.
Something like in Facebook when you export your data, something like that.
Yes,
but done right.
On that point, I would say that we're definitely evolving. Like, we are not putting a finger anymore with games when you're accessing them. Games are evolving, and you don't have that connection on the beginning. Like, you need to connect your wallet? But a lot of games started like giving you an option, like you can connect your wallet or you can connect your email, and you can access those games just with your email. And then if you want to be the part of Web3, then you can be the part of Web3. And on the point of evolving, I see, because I'm in like 4 or 5 discords with my friends from here that are like, they hate Web3. Whenever you tell them Web3, they're like, I don't want to do that. Games are not interesting. But it's much better than like 2-3 years
Definitely.
ago.
I agree, absolutely.
And they're starting to see, like I was showing them some games, they're starting to see, oh, this game looks cool, And on point, for example, because you mentioned the card games, Soulford Fusion, also on Solana, a pretty cool game, exactly has that. Like that 3 part of it, it's in the back, and you can play the game immediately.
I also played it, and it's also a good game. And I agree completely. Like everything that I'm saying, I'm being intentionally overly critical to make you guys think. I'm still quite bullish on crypto gaming, to be honest. And when you look, well, as he said, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and today, the difference is huge. The approach, how they're being built, what actually gets funded. Like they used to fund everything before. Now it's very selective. Now in gaming, it's insanely hard. In crypto gaming, it's insanely hard to find funding. Like you can fund almost anything else before you get to gaming. Of course, until the gaming meta comes, and then everyone's going to throw money at games, but that's just cycles, you know.
Every VC I talked to recently, I asked them what they think about crypto gaming, and they're like,
Yeah, everyone's afraid of it.
they shut down the moment they say that.
Yep. I had the same feedback from a lot of different VCs, and it's just the state of the industry, and that's also kind of normal, which is also good, because now games need to start thinking about financing from sources that are not crypto VCs, which is very good. I think that's going to move a lot of heads in the right direction. And the last part, which you probably all know and expect, like AI has significantly sped up the development of games. I have seen so many crazy things being able to happen in record time now because of AI. And we all know that AI and crypto is probably the most native combination ever. So that's probably my most bullish part on the future of gaming, is when we have games that have AI plus crypto integrated in them. I mean, agentic assets running around the game that you can interact with, have an economy with or against. That's the crazy part. That's where we come to like a second life version of a true game.
Yeah. And bosses will become really, really hard when they
Yes.
start learning
Yes.
from the experience. That's gonna be crazy.
Exactly.
I don't know where I saw like some games similar to Elden Ring or Dark Souls.
Yep.
Imagine that, like learning.
I think I saw the same clip of an AI boss being stronger and stronger. At one point, nobody could beat him.
That one, the big
Yeah. That's. I saw the same clip. Yeah, that's probably something that's going to be the most interesting part in gaming. But this is where the crypto games come in at a very, very natural state. If you involve AI into a Web2 game, okay, cool. You have smart NPCs, but NPCs that revolve around crypto assets and a crypto economy that can trade amongst them, that can take from each other. That's something where you as a human can come in as a player and have the feeling like you're not surrounded by NPCs.
And that's a good thought. Like even maybe economy can be better and can be more leveled up with the AI. Like you can tell AI, hey,
exactly.
you can take more money or you can take less money. So
Exactly. Yeah.
a good thought.
Which is probably something that I don't know when, of course, but at one point when we do see that fully developed, it's probably going to blow my mind.
Maybe direction of NPCs can be smarter. That's one of the use cases. But I think in customization of the gameplay. So you play a game, I play a game. Maybe we like different things. Maybe we like different challenges.
Yeah.
Maybe we like different things happening in the game. And
Yeah.
I think games can be generated and customized based on what I did.
Yep.
Or what's hard for me if I'm failing at, for example, let's say CSGO. I'm failing at shooting, but I'm good at movement. Then it will push me as a single player game to win.
Yeah, that's actually already happening. I've seen, it was I think 2-3 months ago. I've seen a clip of someone talking about, so it's some game dev shop, I can't remember exactly who it was, but they are actually using AI to develop the story of the game, but the approach that they want to take is the story is going to be developed based on your decisions and your character, and the map, the interactions, everything is going to be developed from your point of view. So you want to play a game, and I want to play a game. We download the same game, but we don't play the same game, you know?
Personalized experience.
Exactly, and that's something where AI is going to be interesting. Yeah. And now I'm going to come to the technical part, and I'm going to shill Metaplex a bit because, hello. If you're interested in building games, so why I'm going to talk about these things is just to give you some context and why 2 years ago and today is not the same gaming experience that we had. As naturally you can expect, gaming in the blockchain industry suffers from the blockchain industry. So the blockchain part is the problem. 2 years, 3 years ago, you couldn't do some stuff that you can do today. And the cost of some things wasn't the same as it is today. So just to give you a comparison, an NFT, to produce a Solana NFT let's say 2 years ago and today, is a 10 times difference. So to store metadata on Solana through token metadata, which was introduced by Metaplex in 2021, you had to pay, it's in Sol and it's a fractional amount, but if you scale it to a big game, let's say 1 million assets, it becomes a significant amount of money that you need to pay just to produce the assets. So before and today, way cheaper today to produce the assets on chain and way cheaper to actually use them. One big intention of Metaplex producing bubblegum way before was to actually accommodate gaming, because gaming projects are going to have a lot of assets. They're going to be expensive, and to actually uphold the economy on their own, they needed a way to actually produce cheaper assets, which was the intention behind Bubblegum. And as you can see, Star Atlas uses it, Photo Finish, which is also an interestingly big game, if I might say, and Neon Heroes, which for me personally is probably the most fun game to play currently on Solana. I love the game, completely recommend to anyone. It's a class-based shooter, which is really good, really, really good, and really interesting. So they all use CNFTs, which come from the Bubblegum, and all of them had the same issues. CNFTs cannot be updated. They cannot have dynamic metadata. They have so many archaic issues which just couldn't be addressed before. And because of that, we started thinking around what can we do that will help them just use the same NFTs, but still, have some of the things that they need, which is why we came up with Bubblegum V2, which is going to come out next week or something like that. And what was the thought process is, okay, we have assets that are basically static and that are hard to use and hard to actually develop also at certain levels. How can we make them better for gamers, and not just gamers, but also for mass consumers? So if Nike wants to come and do a shoe collection and have an NFT as a certificate, using standard NFTs is just too expensive, But using CNFTs might work. And at that point, you have something to talk about, you have something to actually do with them. And there's a lot of companies that thought about using something on Solana for these purposes, but didn't because it's still too expensive. And I know how it sounds because Solana used to be the cheapest chain. It's not for a long time.
Sorry, can you just decode the compressed NFT? I don't know what that is.
Okay, so I thought everyone knew what CNFTs are. So compressed NFTs are basically our way of getting some of the data off-chain. So you don't actually have to pay for that much rent on Solana. And CNFTs are actually just a way for someone to actually use NFTs but not be completely on-chain. They sit somewhere in the middle of off-chain and on-chain, And that's why they are so cheap.
How do you ensure persistence? Where is the data stored at the end of it?
That's a whole technical deal. We can go in that a bit later, but so the data is stored semi-decentralized, and you know what Merkle trees are?
Yes.
Okay, we use Merkle trees to actually,
Proof that you have.
Exactly. And of course, at the end of the day, we come to the RPCs, which we need to actually decode the data. Yeah, it's when you do develop them, you can choose where you want to store the data. That's the main point, It can be IPFS, Arweave, or whatever. There's many options. So the problem was always the high cost. I already told everything about this. And the idea around the Bubblegum introduction and the V2 introduction to actually solve these scalable issues. And at this point, with the introduction of Bubblegum V2, you can actually use these assets in more than just one static way, which was done before. And the key features are actually listed here. So now you can basically scale them. The royalty plugin is one of the most important parts because a lot of game devs wanted to have the royalties built in the assets. And before you couldn't do that with compressed NFTs. So that was introduced. And all of these other functions that you can see here are something that now are available with compressed NFTs. The use cases, we can go through them, but you can probably imagine. We talked about every single part of this at some point. I think the most interesting part is probably the skin, weapon, collectible part, you know, everything that makes a game fun for someone who actually plays it, you know, upgrading your weapon, upgrading your character, and still having it as an asset that you can probably sell or, I don't know, make profit in any other way. That's probably the most interesting part. Everything else is just adding on to it, if you ask me. Yeah, this is everything that you guys know. Huh, interesting. So here is the part where we come to what if we want to have it all on chain and like we don't do compromises. That's where we go to our latest standard, which is called Core. And I don't know how many of you know about Core. Let's see some hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. So Core is the newest standard that we developed and pushed out last year. And the idea around Core was that we noticed that token metadata was too big, too expensive, too hard to implement. And we wanted to do something that's more lean, make a better developer experience. And we noticed that when we developed token metadata, we basically developed it more for fungible tokens than for non-fungible. And the NFT part suffered from it for years. And because of it, we had this idea of making a new class of NFTs that can be updated, that can be interoperable, that can be cheaper. And that's why Core came to fruition. I think this might be the most important highlights of Core. The one thing that I can say from a developer perspective that I get as like feedback is the fact that Core is so easier to implement than anything else on Solana. And for the developer part of you here, if you ever tried deploying an NFT on Solana, this is going to make the whole experience way easier and your life in turn. The most important part around Core is the plugin system, and the plugin system is being used also now, semi-used in Bubblegum. The plugin system actually enables quite a cool thing. So before, when you were writing a program, or if you come from EVM, when you were writing a smart contract, you were basically bound. You could only do the things that you could do in that program, in that setting. You had a box and you couldn't go out of it, which basically brought you to a point where you're not able to do certain logic just because it's not available. It can't be done. With the plugin system, what we introduced is a way to actually program something off-chain and have that be able to interact with an on-chain asset. So, for instance, I can do something in backend which is going to link to my NFT and update it just because I had some permissions and I inserted a plugin system into it. We can go way deeper into this if you need additional information. But basically, what it does, it creates an NFT which can be anything, which can do anything, almost anything. Because now you're limited only by your capability as a programmer and not by what Solana allows or what Ethereum allows or whatever, This is something that I used to do a lot of times, and this is a simple, easy progress of how a game situation would work with the blockchain component in it. So this is, of course, a Pokemon example. You have your smart contract logic, you enter a fight with your Pokemon, and then one of two things can happen. Either you win the fight or you lose the fight.
Same in marriage.
Yeah, same in marriage, yes. There we go. So if you do end up winning a fight, you obviously need to get your XP. So how would that work? You would use the update plugin with a core NFT, which would then add to your core NFT a certain amount of experience. And via that, if you reach a certain threshold, of course you need to level up, which again triggers the update plugin, which then changes your NFT to evolve, which then changes the asset, which then calls the function to update the asset. And this is actually, from what I keep hearing from devs, quite simple to execute, which is something that we needed in every blockchain aspect to actually do certain games. The same thing happens if your Pokemon loses and if you need to actually give it a potion. You just use the update plugin, and then ultimately it does the update asset, which changes the asset, and then you get some additional info in it.
This was close to impossible like 2 years ago. So
Exactly.
it's like crazy.
Yeah, this was impossible without middleware, which is a problem. You want to develop an easy, lean experience in a decentralized blockchain game, but you need to insert a lot of backend, a lot of Web2 stuff to actually make it possible. And then at the end of the day, these assets are not done properly the way they should be. You know? Yes.
Can soulbound tokens be mass minted?
Yes.
Or also, if not, can they be by a plugin made so they are non-transferable?
Yes. Yeah. That's possible. Yeah. And funny, but I get that question a lot. I don't know what you guys want to do, but yeah, that's possible.
I can share on that.
Yeah, sure.
I think I would argue the big problem for NFTs is that if they are earned, so now you can't flex. There is in industry there is no example for you flexing an NFT that is actually hard to earn. Rather, you can just come and buy it for $1,000. If you can implement that in your game that you need to hustle like 2 years to get it and have it as a PFP, as a soulbound token.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a total different story.
I think that's gonna be one of the better marketing, guerrilla marketing things eventually when crypto games become more interesting, more big. Then you're gonna have like a lot of these gamers flexing with their assets that they earned and that you know can't be transferred. So yeah, there's a lot of talk about soulbound NFTs in different products, but in gaming especially, yeah. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So this is me. This is my handle on Twitter if you need me. The same handle is for Telegram. So feel free to, I don't know, send me a message or whatever. If you have any questions, Metaplex related, gaming related, whatever you need, just hit me up. Thank you.